G'day, Ian here. Welcome to another episode of Look Out for Lookouts. As I've been touring the various fire towers around Queensland and fire cabins, a couple of things I've neglected to do is tell you the origins of the names of those particular places. Now, I've followed up some additional research, and what I've got with me now is an updated list of those particular towers and their names. And from the best of my knowledge, this is the research that I found, that these are the names. So just hang on a second, I'll get my cards out here, because there's no way I'm going to remember all these sorts of things. So these are in no particular order, so I'll just shuffle through them and we'll see how we go there. So the first one is Wild Horse Mountain on the Sunshine Coast, and that was named after the Brumbies that roamed the area back in the early days when the place was being settled. Beautiful lookout spot overlooking millions of hectares of exotic pines, and a beautiful place for a lookout. See from the Glasshouse Mountains right out to the Sunshine Coast and across to the island. So beautiful spot if you get a chance to go there. So that's the first one, Wild Horse Mountain. Okay, so now we're going to have a quick change of scenery. We're heading down to the Brigalow Fire Hut number 4, and that's located in the Western Creek Forestry, down there the other side of Millmerran. And of course, that's in the heart of Brigalow country. Now, the name Brigalow is a derivation from the local indigenous peoples. It was first mentioned by Ludwig Leichhardt in 1844. So that's a common name. It can also describe the tree in particular, the species, but also the general ecology of that particular area. So that's the Brigalow Fire Hut number 4. Now, the Sandy Fire Tower, number 5, up there in Banarkin State Forest, I haven't been able to actually locate the name for that one. However, maybe because of the volcanic ridge where the country is, it's sandy there, so that could be a reason it's called Sandy Fire Tower number 5. However, if I do find some more details, I'll include that in a later video. Now we go to another one that remains a bit of a mystery. This is the Wajji Fire Tower number 4 at the Barracuda State Forest, the Barracuda State Forest, north of Chinchilla. It may have some indigenous meaning, but I haven't been able to determine that properly yet. So that's another one. That tower is still standing, and if I get some more details on that, I'll include that in a later video. Now, a little bit closer to home, the Peachey State Forest, just up the road here a bit, where the Peachey Fire Tower number 7 is located. Now, this was named after Edward Wilmot Peachey. He was a surveyor in the local area and also a sill mill operator. The land that he was actually occupying was given or sold to the government to plant their plantations. Interestingly, he was also a Queensland parliamentarian from 1873 to 1877, and he was representing the electorate of Aubgini. I'm not sure if that one still exists, but I can update that at a later time. So the next one we go on to is the Turkey Mountain Fire Hut number 6, again up there in the Barracuda State Forest, north of Chinchilla. Now, I haven't been able to determine exactly which turkey it's talking about. The range of the scrub turkey in Queensland goes that far inland, but also it's an area where the busted bird, or commonly called a plain turkey, is located. So either one of those maybe is the reason it was given the name Turkey Mountain Fire Hut number 6. Okay, so now just down the road a bit, further to the west, we've got the Koondara Fire Tower number 5. Now, the Koondara is from the Wajji people of the South Burnett, and from what I've been able to indicate from indigenous languages, that actually means dingo country. So that's another one we can put a name to. Okay, for all the historians out there with regard to World War I, the next fire tower is the Passchendaele number 1 in the Passchendaele State Forest, down there in the granite country of the granite belt. Now this was named after a World War I battle that raged on the Western Front from July to November in 1917. And it was just outside in a place called Passchendaele in Belgium. It was okay. Now we go a little bit further up north this time to the Elliott River Fire Tower number 5. Now this was the actual river itself was named after Gilbert Elliott, 1796 to 1871, and the Elliott River was named by the Maryborough Harbour Master in 1861. So of course with the Elliott River Fire Tower number 5, that's where it gets its name from. Now still up in that northern areas there, we come to the Toolara State Forest, and we've got Fire Tower, Kelly Fire Tower number 8. I haven't been able to establish the origins of the Kelly name yet. Not sure whether it's related to Ned Kelly, the infamous bushranger, but I'll find out. If I get any more detail, I'll include that in a future video. Just up the road a ways from the Toolara State Forest, we have the Mount Wolvie Fire Tower number 6. Now, Wolvie, in the indigenous local language, means young, near, weaned kangaroo. I love these names. So that's what Mount Wolvie is named after in the local indigenous language, meaning near, weaned kangaroo. Now we go to the Jimna Fire Tower number 10. Now, sometimes these names are shrouded in mystery, things are forgotten, records are lost, those sorts of things. So what information I've been able to find out with regard to the Jimna Fire Tower number 10, it's likely from the local indigenous language, meaning place of leeches. Now I've camped there a few times and I haven't encountered any leeches yet, so maybe that will be somewhere in that area. So as I said, sometimes these names are difficult to find because the origins are lost in history. Okay, so now let's go to just up the road there, about 70 k's, to the Galagowan State Forest, and this time we've got the Leary Fire Tower, as I can see here. Now, I haven't been able to determine which Leary this was named after at the present moment. However, the name Leary is of Irish Gaelic origin, which means hero or warrior like. Now, whether that has any specific direct reference to the Leary that it's named after, I'm not sure, but that's the origins of the name itself. And now we're going way out west. As a matter of fact, we're heading out to Yulba, to the Yulba Fire Tower number 1. Now, Yulba is officially one of the largest towns, or first largest town, that is in what is called the Queensland Outback. When you leave Toowoomba here, you drive down the Darling Downs, then it goes to the Western Downs, and then there's a huge big sign on the side of the road that says, "Welcome to the Queensland Outback." So that's where we are, out there officially in the Outback, and that's from the local indigenous language meaning place of water lilies. And that's quite true. When you go to a lot of the permanent lagoons out there, they're always full of those beautiful purpley mauve water lilies. Okay, now we go a little bit up the road here from where we were at Peachy State Forest, and this one is Mount Binga. Again, this is possibly meaning ants from the Jaraware. I'll put the name on the bottom there so I don't want to embarrass myself too much in trying to pronounce these names, but from the local indigenous language, possibly meaning ants. That's true, that one. Now, a bit of a mystery. Down there in the Western Creek State Forest, there's Waggabar Fire Tower number 7. That's been dismantled, as I've shown from a previous video. However, I'm not sure of the origins of the name. Again, may have an indigenous reference, so when I get that information, I'll include that in a future video. Well, quickly now, we're back over to the Glasshouse Mountains. We're going to look at the Glasshouse Mountain Fire Hut number 1. Now, as I've mentioned in an earlier video, the Glasshouse Mountains were named in May 17th, 1770 by Captain James Cook as he sailed up the east coast of Queensland, and it reminded him of the giant kilns from his home part of England in Yorkshire. hence the name. But as I've said in that earlier video when I did those fire towers and lookouts, there are many indigenous names, and I've included those on the videos. But simply the glass house was with reference to that. And finally, for this series, Beerburrum Fire Hut number 2. You've got quite a walk up the mountain there, and that in the local Kabi language means king parrot, and that's quite true. Beautiful area, semi-rainforest there, where we have plenty of those beautiful king parrots there. So thank you, friends, for watching this morning. That brings that bit to a conclusion from the picnic lookout here in Toowoomba, and hopefully that'll bring you up to date with some of those names. And as I said, those ones that are missing, I will include those in future videos. And any other videos I start making, I've listed about 9 or 10 more locations I've got to visit this year, and I'll be following up with additional videos. However, until that time, look forward to my next video on telling you how to triangulate a fire out in the forest. Okay folks, thanks for your time, thanks for your company, be safe out there, and we'll catch you on the next video. Take care now.